the number. Murderer. Still never like that. Murderer. No, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone breast will hear the fat lady say.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Riri Williams has moved up to the big leagues now. Murder. Yeah, don't get no bigger than that now. She's a bona fide killer. That's gonna look real good on the street cred. So it literally starts off, the episode literally starts off with them doing a basic dancing money, right? You got Riri and them, they're dancing in all their ill-gotten money that they stole. And honestly, a few things about this confuse me very much. I mean, okay, I understand that they're criminals and that's why they're dancing in the money. I don't understand why they have the money, because typically, when you rob someone, you go into their place, you take their money or any other valuables, and then you get the hell out of there as fast as possible, and then you enjoy your ill-gotten gains. You don't go to a woman's company, beat up the guards, install some kind of virus, and then have the guy who looks like he literally escaped from Shakespeare in the Park and is still on the run, come to the woman and give her a contract and tell her that you need to sign this, giving us money, giving us like 6-figure salaries and have us be part owners of your company. And then she signs it and gives you the money. Because if someone is threatening you, you could say, okay, fine, and sign, and then send the police after them, because again, these idiots didn't wear any masks, didn't have their fingerprints everywhere, so you know who they are. But for some reason, the idea here was to pay them money and then keep paying them, because I don't understand the crime here. Why would you give these people money? They're criminals who came there to take your your company's money, and you're paying them. And Riri Williams, hero that she is dancing in a shower of money while they enjoy themselves, because this is heroics, people. This is heroics. You understand me? Even got Shea Coulee there, and they were champagne and because this is apparently how you do things now, or something like that. I'm not sure. But they're having, at the time of their life, the money spells out Ironheart, and they're good. And Shea Coulee is there. Again, you could very easily pick this person out of any lineup at all. Literally anybody could. But that's what they do. They're enjoying their money that I still don't understand why they have it. But apparently, you're not supposed to either think too deeply about this show, or you have to come to realize that idiots wrote it. But whatever. Why not? Why not? And they're there and they're having the stuff like that and all of that, and you know, real enjoy this. And they start to talk about what it is they're going to do with their share of the money. And Shea Coulee says some stuff I didn't even remember what the hell it was. And Clown talks about how she's going to open some school that's going to be a front for money laundering, for the black market explosives and all of that. And when they get to Riri, Riri is like, no, all my money is going into my suit. Now, that's a bold-faced lie, and we'll see that soon, because, you know, it ain't about the suit, it's about the fact you're a criminal, and that's what you're looking to do. So you're claiming all your money is going into the suit, and we know that ain't going to happen very soon. Yeah, they're going on here, and we have, you know, testosterone Mary here because, yeah, there's a face you can't ever forget seeing, but why not? That's what it is. And then Klung decides to act like a clown because that's what's going on and goes and gets Hood's hood. Now, I want you to remember this part because it's very important to what's going to happen later, right? Clown actually went in there and got the hood and has the hood on and stuff, and they're all shocked, like, what the hell are you doing? You can't do that. And so and she prancing around with the hood. And then she's like, this thing's like it's hot or something like that. And it's really weird. And then, Riri comes over to check it and stuff. And then, they're all weird and stuff. And then I think this guy's name is John, who's Hood's cousin, comes in, slams Klong onto the table and is like, don't touch the hood. What are you doing? Only he could touch the hood and all of that. And everybody's all freaked out. And then Riri, 4 feet 11 inches tall, gets up in his face like, you need to back off and thing. And then he's like telling her about, you need to back off. She's like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know, slap the black off of you. What are you gonna do to him? But that also comes up later, so keep in mind these two and their tension because a lot of things tend to happen, right? And they're all sitting there like, woo, yeah, what's going on? And then, Hood comes in and tells them that, their next target is Hurlum and Hurlum's CEO, Hunter Mason, right? And apparently he is growing these kind of new plants and stuff that grow faster and all other stuff like that. And their justification for robbing this man is that he's putting farmers out of work. How is he doing that? Maybe he's buying up a bunch of farmland. No, he has his stuff out on the water. Maybe he is, cornering the market or stuff like that. Nope, there's plenty of food to go around. We never get an explanation as to why these people need to get robbed other than the fact that they're rich, so they deserve it. That's it. That's really it. And, Shea Coulee that, Hurlum's place that have all the plastic stuff is like a fortress. No metal, no metallic stuff could get in there without being registered and everything that the can't find a way in and all of that. It's really ridiculous. And the entire facility is outfitted with security and it's real that so that no suit, no bombs, no nothing. And then Hood says, why am I looking at the group of the most attractive people and they all look down? And I'm like, have you looked at these people? I mean, have you really and truly looked at these people and you're calling them attractive? I mean, whatever, dude. You do you. And Klung is all, maybe because your boy choke slammed me and still hasn't apologized, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm real sorry about that and all of this. And then, he basically Hood tells them that, everything is all stuff like that, and you all need to just go out there and spend some of that money and take some time and stuff. And then Riri has to have a talk with Hood, and Hood is basic. So she wants to know how the hood works, and he tells her it's magic and stuff like that. And he basically tells her that, anybody who's ever had to do with things like that had to do some criminal stuff. And she's like, I'm not a criminal. I'm an engineer. No, bitch, you are a criminal. You have been doing criminal things since before you met them, and now you're doing more criminal things. And he's like, you're joking, right? Everyone you're talking about is a criminal. You're all criminals. But no, for some reason, Riri wants to act like I'm just an engineer who's only doing this because I need to get money for my suit, even though MIT was giving it to your ungrateful little behind and you still didn't care. But no, I'm not a criminal. I'm an engineer. You're an engineer criminal. That's what you are. You are a criminal. That's what it is. And he tells her that, anybody who's ever had to do anything amazing has had to do questionable stuff. Well, I don't know where you live in, but okay, good for you. Remember how I said that she was talking about how all she money is going in to the suit? Well, she immediately takes some of that money and goes and buys this guy, the same guy who came in with the whole hey black people, and goes and buys him some earphones, some headphones things. He goes and buys it. So clearly your money isn't going in to the suit, and these are expensive headphones that you just want to show off, because this is not about your so-called I am building a suit nonsense. No, you're a criminal. You got money and now you want to flaunt it to some nonsense that nobody cares about, but it is what it is. And then Riri's mother opens the door to find Joe there, right? Because that's what's going on. Joe has come there to see Riri. And these people are literally acting like they've never seen a white man before. Honestly, that's how they're acting. Because at one point, she's talking with him, and this elderly black woman is coming up and she's watching him like she's now seeing Bigfoot or something. It's weird. I mean, like, you acting like you've never seen a white man before. I don't even really know. So he came to see her there, and he's telling her that, he's got some blueprints and stuff that he's that he came up with some ideas after meeting her, and he wanted to help him work on it. And she's like, no, she's not good. And then Joe, literally his balls dropped at that moment, and he's like, yes, you are, or I'm going to tell your mother how we really know each other. Yeah, he literally started up by himself, and she's like, what? I'm getting blackmailed? And I'm like, yes, you are, and you deserve it. That's what happens. And he leaves with a smile, and I'm good with that. And then AI Natalie finds her way into the suit and makes it moves and sneaks up on her and scares her and stuff like that, and tells her stuff with it, and then she wants to get upgraded so she could move outside of the suit and stuff like that, so kind of portable version. And Riri's like, she doesn't have time to do that, and then hologram Natalie blackmails her like, maybe I should tell people about your little high-tech criminal stuff and all like that. And she's like, how am I getting blackmailed twice in one day? And then she's like, karma. And I'm like, yeah, karma, because you bloody deserve it. You're a criminal and you done criminal things, and that's karma coming for you. So set this suit to upgrade, whatever, and then she puts hologram Natalie's into this little pendant projector thing and turns it on, and there it is. So they go out for like to have fun outside and stuff and sit around and talk. And once again, even if it's a little, okay, where there's girls hanging out kind of thing, Natalie is the only person with any kind of personality. It's weird that Riri Williams actually created something with more of a personality than she has. That's how really ridiculous this is. It's happening. So the last place that Natalie wants to go is Gary's repair shop, which is where Natalie and Riri's stepfather, Gary, got killed. Right? She literally wants to go there. So they open up, go inside, and, hologram Natalie's looking around. Riri is just there checking stuff out, and then Riri starts to have flashbacks of what happened that night and literally starts to have a panic attack, right? She starts to have a panic attack, whatever, and she's getting stuff there, and hologram Natalie comes over and tells her that, you're having a panic attack. Just listen to me. Just breathe in and out. Just breathe. Just breathe and relax. And you're gonna, she's like, okay, good. In and out. And she's breathing. And then Riri's like, how do you know to do that? Only my Natalie knows how to do that. And I'm like, okay, you downloaded your memories of Natalie into the AI, so clearly it would have the knowledge that you have of what Natalie knows. I'm honestly at this point getting a little worried about Riri because I think that suit is giving us some kind of brain damage. Because you can't be this stupid. Honestly, you're supposed to be a genius, but you can't be this stupid. That you haven't figured this out yet, or maybe some kind of running gag in this. And speaking of running gags,
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
yeah, that's gonna be a constant thing with me. This stuff. But yeah, that's what's going on. It's weird that she doesn't seem to figure that out. So Riri goes back to her apartment, and the police are there. And I'm thinking they're finally going to arrest this thieving bitch, but no, they're not going to do that because what they're really there for is remember Eric Andre, who was part of the Hood's crew at the beginning of this, and really was trying to get to reach him. Well, apparently he was found dead, murdered. Or maybe he realized what series he was in and couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide, and they just decided to call him. I am honestly leaning towards the second one, but okay, well, let's go with the first one for now. Right, so yeah, he was found murdered. And Riri is like, we were, we went up for the same job, and I was just calling him to reach out, but he didn't pick up and stuff like that. So that's supposed to be that, but what's it? And you see, Riri's mother is strange. This woman never asks questions. She never pushes to inquire about anything. Your daughter is clearly involved in something sketchy and shady, and you're just kind of there. Like, you're supposed to just be there in the background until the time comes that she has to have some big emotional heart-to-heart talk with you that we're all supposed to care about. I don't know why, but and then she's goes in there and she's freaking out and she's Stuart got murked. Oh, what did I get myself into? You've literally got involved with a group of criminals, and you were literally a few hours ago partying it up in a money shower, knowing the criminal activities that happened. They blackmailed, extortion, attempted murder, assault, breaking and entering, destruction of property, all of which you were a part of. But now you find out that, listen, Stuart got murdered, and what are you getting into? I mean, even if you want to say that, okay, you didn't have anything to do with this part, we could assume that. We could assume that you didn't have anything to do with this. You might be able to get out of this one. You might be able to get out of it. But that's what's going on. So she starts, so Riri starts freaking out, and she's like, they know about me, they know where I live, they know about my mom, they know about everything. And you're like, what am I going to do? So it takes me back to when Joe came over and she asked Joe, how did he find her? And he's like, Google. And I'm just thinking, maybe you could have just, I don't know, Googled the Hood and his creepy cousin and got some information on them, something. But no, you didn't care as long as you did. And now that these people are clearly dangerous, now you're freaking out. Yeah, real genius there. So she wants to get something on them, and Natalie is telling her, like, this magical dude can bend bullets to his will and all of that. And then Riri has a genius idea. right? She wants to get a part of the hood so she could analyze it and find out what she's working with. Now, I'm not entirely sure why you're afraid of the hood when you literally are in an armored mech suit that is bulletproof, and I don't think the fact that you could bend bullets means that it could pierce your suit. You could outfit it with weapons and kill him, but apparently you're supposed to be afraid of this guy. I'm not sure why, but let's just assume that's it. So she wants to get a part of his hood to analyze it because why not? And she then comes up with this genius plan that, you know, because they have some job that they're going to be doing at the Helium's security place tonight, and she wants to use that to get the hood, a part of the hood. Now again, I know that this show is not written by people with common sense, but wouldn't it have made better sense to try and take a part of the hood when it's at his place? Because keep in mind, like I said earlier, Klong got it and was wearing it. So clearly you could break in there, take a scissors, snip off a piece, and be done with it. Because it's not like he sleeps with it. It's not like he showers with it. It's not like he goes to the crapper with it. So he has to take it off at times and he has to leave the loft at some point. So you could easily get in there and get it. But no, this idiot wants to steal it in the middle of a big heist in a high security place. Because that is the level of common sense of the people who write the show. And when people who have no common sense try to write people that they claim are geniuses, everything comes off looking stupid. Why not? That's what we're going to do. All right. So, she then comes up with the idea that she needs to get them off her ass, apparently. And Joe is the solution because Joe had this idea for a kind of nanotech-like skin that she could use to hide something so she could go in there and cut off a part of the hood. Yeah, it just keeps getting more and more moronic, no matter what you do. Meanwhile, Hood is doing some kind of weird shirtless yoga thing. I don't know, but whatever. So so his cousin comes in there and tells him that, listen, I can't find anything on this guy who we're going to rob and extort. He doesn't have any kind of vices, no weaknesses, no anything like that. And Hood is like, we're just going to have to find something. And his cousin is telling him, listen, we don't have anything. We can't go in like this. We can't do it. Maybe it's best if we just, call this one off. It doesn't make sense. We don't have anything. And Hood is like, if we can't find a pressure point, well, let's make one. But he's telling him nowhere to get it done. Meanwhile, on the TV, they're talking about how, some people have been going around robbing rich people, and that somebody makes a statement that, they're just a bunch of thugs and all kind of thing, and Hood gets upset and is like, we're gonna do this tonight. And you could tell at this point Hood has some kind of connection to, I don't know, Fortune 500. Maybe somebody stole his work. Maybe somebody didn't appreciate him. Some crap like that. But that's what's driving him to do this nonsense. So he wants to do it, and he's telling him that, he could see the big picture. They're gonna get through with this and all of that. So Riri goes to see Joe, who apparently mutilated himself to implant something in there. I'm not sure what that is, but the makeup or whatever they want to call it looks terrible, because you can tell that's not really how somebody opening up their hand would look. So I'm not even sure. They apparently spent all the money for this episode on that one, that dance scene at the beginning when they were showering money. Apparently that was the budget for any kind of, plastic makeup surgery like that. I don't even know. Yeah. So they're talking there like there it is. Look at that. That doesn't even look convincing. Look at it. It doesn't even look like you actually cut yourself. Like, come on now, man. Oh God, or you could try a little harder. I don't even know, boy. So she tells him that she wants to borrow his nano skin thing, and he telling her that you can't use it for something illegal and all of that. And she going to get some peroxide, and he tells her where it is. And then she picks up this bag, and he tells her, please put that back. And she drops it because it's ashes of his father that he's keeping in a plastic bag, and it's Obadiah. And yeah, it turns out that he actually is Obadiah's staying son, because I kind of suspected that. I said it before, because when I realized the bunker full of all, and they're like, no way this guy has all of this if he doesn't have access to some of that stuff like that. Until his name isn't really Joe, it's Ezekiel. Now I thought that Obadiah had a daughter, but whatever. Maybe she comes in later. Maybe Joe has a sex change. Who knows at this point? Yeah. So that's what's going on. And then he tells her that the story about how Obadiah died in a plane crash isn't true. He died when he was trying to murder Tony Stark, and that, he doesn't want to be anything like him. He cannot be caught up in all of this criminal stuff because that's what his father used it for, and he doesn't want to be a part of that. He just wants to do the right thing and stuff like that. But she convinces him, tells him this story about her stepfather and a friend and all of that, because that's what happened. And I related the rest of that, but that's what's going on. So he agrees to give her the nano skin stuff so she could get it done. And then he tells her that please don't do anything that would get me implicated in anything like that. And she's like, I promise. Well, she's gonna break that promise. So they go to break into this place, and Riri is there checking it out. She's on the watchtower, and all of them are going in. And then Riri comes out of the suit, gives remote control of it to AI Natalie, and she has decided she's going to swim into the base, right where it is there. She's tracking where Hood is, and she's going to go there using the nano skin and hide a little laser cutter and cut off part of his suit. I would think scissors would do it faster, but maybe that's just me. So she comes in there. Now, you see this part where she's coming in through the water access way? I want you to remember that, because that's also important, because that's how these stupid things work. So she comes in there, Natalie is there checking out this stuff, and the CEO is in there with the plants and stuff like that, and he knows that Hood is there. He was basically expecting him, because he tells that, some people have been talking about how, certain people, certain people are getting ripped off and stuff like that. So he was expecting him to show up, and, all of this stuff that there have been whispers about a flamboyant young upstart and all of that. What you're doing is what you're doing. So she comes in there to try and snip off part of the hood, because that's what's going on. And he's basically telling the hood, the guy is basically telling the hood that, he has a check, and he's giving him, he said, this is the check for money, and this is it. You could listen, you could tell your homies and them that you ripped me off, that you extorted, because he's basically paying him. right? He came there to run by basically paying him. Now, you would think at that point you'd say, well, okay, I'm just going to take the money and that's it, have a good night and go. But then, no, he's like, it's not about the money. And he gives him the same ridiculous contract shit that he gave to the other woman. And the guy looks it over and he's like, yeah, I'm not signing this. And he's damn right. Why would you give this man your money? I don't get it. So he has Shea Coulee start to turn off the fire systems, and then the crazy one there starts to burn things down, and meanwhile Riri is still trying to laser off a part of his hood because apparently this is the most versatile hood ever. But it's not some kind of piece of cloth, but that again maybe I'm just saying maybe scissors would have worked better, but whatever. So she starts to burn the place down and all that, and is having a whale of a good time. But in doing so, sets off the alarms, which locks the place down and starts to suck the air out of the rooms that the Hood's gang is in. Because none of these idiots thought that, there would be fire suppression systems in there. There must have been in the schematics, but these dimwits didn't even look at it. Why not? And Shea Coulee says that can't turn it off. So that's what's going on. But that's what's up and stuff. And then, this guy is calm as ever and basically telling him that, no, I didn't do this. You did that. So one of your cohorts set off something. And he's quite right. These people broke into his place to commit crimes. Whatever happens to them is their own business. This is why you have security systems to keep the criminals out. And since you are criminals, what you get is your own business. And he's damn right about it. You understand me? He's not going to do that. So Hood gets all creepy. You start to hear some voices whispering and all kind of thing. He then puts on his hood and and then literally murders the guy. Literally murders him. And yes, because Hood killed this guy, all of them are now complicit in it. All of them are murderers now. Because even if, this is how the law works, even if you are just the getaway driver and you never went in anywhere like that, once you are a part of the criminal organization and somebody gets killed, you are liable. So they are all murderers now, all of them. But don't worry, Riri's got to get her own too. So we get into that. Yeah. So Hood kills him and now they're all in on it. And he gets all black eyes and all kind of stuff like that. Yeah, we could see the demonic possession going strong there. So she manages to laser off a part of his hood. And meanwhile, they're all trying to get out from the locked rooms that they're in, and that's not happening. So they go to look for them, and then security guards show up there trying to arrest Hood, but Hood then starts to murder them too. So it's not just one homicide that they're a part of now, they're a part of multiple homicides. That's what they're all killers now. All of them. That's what's going on. And remember that underwater passage I talked about that Riri could have gone back through? No. This idiot decides the best thing to do is to look to go and crawl through a vent. Why? I don't know. Because the water passageway would have been much safer because fire can't burn in water. So there's no chance of anything locking off there with you. You could have just gone back there, swam back out, got into your suit, and Bob's your uncle, you're fine. But no, she decides to go and open a vent and crawl through it. And then the vent starts to lock down and all that, and everything all hell is breaking loose. So Natalie wants to come and get her, but she tells her to no, go and save the others. She will get out on her own. whatever that thing that'll be. Meanwhile, Hood is still murdering people because that's what he does. Riri comes in there, jumps down, kind of damages her leg. And then when she opens the door to go out, there's the Hood's cousin, and he's like, "Why aren't you in your suit?" And at this point, she could have said, "It's called multitasking. I put my suit on remote control to go and help the others while I came in here to shut down all of this that's happening." But no, she stands there, um, and doesn't even consider to hide the part of the Hood that she just cut off. No, it's in plain view. He sees it, realizes what's going on, comes in there to attack her, and she's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" So he literally starts to manhandle her 4 feet 11 inches, 80-pound self, like there's no tomorrow, throw her around and all that. And then he says the strangest thing. He's like, I told him we shouldn't have brought you in. I told him you told him your problems. And I'm like, dude, you recruited her. You're the one who recruited her. Is the crime affecting your mind? Are you forgetting things? No, I don't know. And then we proceed to see the worst fight I have seen in a while, because, like I've stated, this girl is like 4 feet 11 inches tall, weighing 80, maybe 90 pounds, soaking wet. This guy is much bigger, and he can't for the life of him seem to kill her yet. Right? He's throwing her around, trying to stab her. And then the nano skin and the laser cutter fall off, and she never picks it up. So Joe is now implicated in this as well, right? The rest of them are in there barely clinging to life, and I'm like, well, you reap what you sow. That's what it is. And they're running around here to get there. She's slamming him into things, hitting him with glass bottle. And this guy is running after her, swinging this knife, and still and I'm like, Jason Voorhees would be so disappointed with you. Then she wraps him up in plastic, because that apparently does something, and throws him off. And then they getting trouble breathing because the air is getting sucked out of the room, which she could have just said she was trying to fix before. But that's what happens. Natalie comes in there in the suit, right? She goes into the suit and literally leaves him to suffocate and die. Yes, you heard that right. She leaves him to suffocate and die. That is what happened here. She didn't, okay, I'm going to. She left him there to suffocate and die. So, as I said, Riri is now a murderer. And I don't want to hear the whole, he was trying to kill her guy. Once she got in that suit, she could have knocked him out, dragged him outside, tied him up somewhere, taken him to the police or something like that. But no, she left him in there to suffocate and die. That's what she did. So now she's a murderer. Right there. That's what it is. So they go outside there. Hood is wondering where John is. Riri takes a flyover and she scans the area and sees him lying there motionless, so realizing that he's dead because you left him there to die. That's what you did. And they take off out of there. She goes back there and she's having a freak out like, oh no, what did I do? What did I do? You killed someone. That's what you did. You're a murderer. You're a thief, a blackmailer, an extortionist, and now you're a murderer. Congratulations. That's what happens. Hood goes back and throws his hood there and is talking to Mephisto about how could you do this and all of that and what's going on and that. And this wasn't part of the plan and all of that. So what does Mephisto do? Show him an image of his cousin suffocating and dying. And he's like, why are you showing me this? And then he literally get to see like Riri's suit come there. So now he apparently knows that she's the one who killed his cousin. Yeah. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And Riri is freaking out. Natalie's trying to talk with her, and she's like, no, what did I do? What did I do? This wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, this wasn't supposed to happen. What did I do? And then she realizes that she lost the nano skin. So yeah, Joe is implicated as well. And that's the episode, people. Riri Williams is now officially a killer. Yep. She's joined the big leagues, murderer up front. That's what happens. This girl would make a much better Dr. Doom than Robert Downey Jr. at this point. Honestly, she really would. So yeah, 3 episodes done, and my rating for episode 3, I'm going to give this one 4. Out of 5, because the murder was that ridiculous. Yeah, that's where we reach now, people. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.